We begin now with your first alert to the ongoing battle to get the over 2,000-acre Carolina forest wildfire 100% contained, which crews revealed could take a while. Right now, I want to get right over to our Ashley Listrom, who joins us live near Tuckahoe Road. So, Ashley, what's the latest update out there where you are?
Rachel, just earlier I spoke to the South Carolina Forestry Commission, who confirms this wildfire could take several weeks to put out. And they kind of compared it to the analogy like that this fire is like a hotbed of coals, and it's going to take a lot of water to get it all the way out. And to do that, crews have been doing aerial drops nonstop throughout the day. You might be able to hear some of those choppers in the air right now. As the South Carolina Forestry Commission says, the South Carolina National Guard is flying 2 Black Hawks and a Chinook. Now, the Forestry Commission tells me they were able to use Horry County Fire Rescue and Horry County Police Department's drone to pinpoint exactly where those water drops are needed. But there is some good news. Even though it has been windy today, crews used the drones to confirm the fire did not break those fire lines. Now, at this point, the wildfire is still just 44% contained and has burned over 2,000 acres. The South Carolina Forestry Commission says its crews are here, though, for the long run.
But it's going to take a while, yeah, and we're dedicated to it, you know, us and everybody working on this thing, that we're not going to leave till it's safe.
It's important to note that while crews like the one right here behind me continue to work to put out this fire, just to use situational awareness, especially along Carolina Boulevard, where they have a lot of emergency vehicles coming in and out, officials just ask that you stay back, let them get through so they can do their jobs and continue to keep us safe. Reporting live in Carolina Forest, Ashley Listrom, WMBF News.
That's right, Ashley. So important for everyone out there to stay on their toes. Meanwhile, South Carolina U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham and Congressman Russell Fry will be visiting our area tomorrow. Senator Graham making that announcement just hours ago, saying they'll be in Horry County to speak with firefighters and crews who have been right there on the front lines of this wildfire. Then they are expected to speak with the media after. Of course, WMBF News will have crews on hand to bring you the lawmakers' comments. Well, all week long, we've been talking about the folks working so hard to put out this fire, but we also want to bring attention to what this experience has been like for them firsthand. Our Stephen Schlink spoke with a Surfside Beach firefighter about what this firefight was like and how it compares to others he has fought in the past. So, Stephen, even though he's no longer out there with you now, I mean, we all need a break before they go out and do it all again. Things right now, though, are still pretty active out there.
Well, Rachel, things are still active. You know, you just saw those crews behind our Ashley Listrom. We've been hearing those sirens all day. We've been hearing those choppers, seeing those crews coming in and out. We're still seeing that haze even out here. But if you look in this wooded area behind me, you can see that charred wood, that charred ground, the black ground down there, where this fire made its mark on this community here in Walker's Woods. And, you know, crews from across the state of South Carolina, as well as from into North Carolina, they have been out here since this fire broke out Saturday, working around the clock to contain this more than 2,000-acre fire, and that includes Surfside Beach Fire Department. Firefighter Stephen Backlund is a firefighter with that department. He tells me that he was at the fire Sunday night and stayed through the day on Monday. He says he's from Missouri, so fires like this, he says, are not new to him, but he says they worked very strategically to fight this fire here in Carolina Forest, like using drones to stage where to place crews so that when flare-ups happened, they could respond before the fire was able to destroy those structures. He says they did have to take some precautions, though, in order to stay safe.
You know, putting on masks and trying to keep the smoke from getting into your lungs, so a little bit of a blockage. We did a lot of walking, so socks were very, very nice to have. So when we went to the rehab, all the neighbors and that came together had hundreds of socks sitting there. So for those people, thank you so much. That was phenomenal.
You can just hear the thankfulness in his voice there. Now, I did ask Stephen if there was anything from his experience battling this fire that would stick with him. He says the biggest thing is the thankfulness for the community rallying around the first responders. He also tells me that Surfside Beach does have a crew out here continuing to help the county and state working to put out this fire. Again, just all those resources coming together, working to contain this fire, keep it from destroying any of those properties. Live in Carolina Forest, Stephen Schlink, WMBF News.
All right, we continue to be so grateful to them all. Thanks again, Stephen. We also want to check in right now with our very own chief meteorologist, Jamie Arnold. And Jamie, we could be waking up to smoke even thicker than we've even seen over the last couple days.
Yeah, we've gotten a break the past 2 days thanks to all of that wind around, but we're going to see that wind kind of easing up as we head into the night tonight, and that does mean, unfortunately, that smoky morning commute likely going to be making a comeback. It is certainly gusty out there right now, 21 miles per hour there at the fire site. Notice those winds coming out of the west and the northwest. But as we put this into motion, heading into the rest of the night tonight, notice those winds ease up. And by the time we get into daybreak on Friday, blowing at just 2 to 4 miles per hour, very lightly out of the north. So those much lighter winds means that smoke is much more likely to settle back down towards the ground, similar to what we saw earlier in the week, especially from Carolina Forest down through Forest Brook, Soxty into the South Strand. Now, the good news is I'm not expecting it to be that super fog we were dealing with earlier in the week, but still, you're probably going to smell it. You may want to limit that use of heat or AC in your home. That tends to draw in some of that outside air and especially that smell, and also that recirculate feature in your car for that morning commute, especially up and down 501, 544 Carolina Forest Boulevard, where that smoke is likely going to be the thickest. We're also talking about some chilly temperatures overnight tonight and another opportunity for rain coming up. All of that is ahead in my First Alert forecast.
All right, thank you, Jamie. Also, don't forget WMBF News is joining forces with a group of local businesses to collect donations to help give a boost and say thank you to the first responders out there fighting the wildfire. Cash, whatever you can give, all those donations can be dropped off at Garden City Furniture on Highway 17 Business, Easton Industries in Myrtle Beach, or Ethan Allen right off Highway 17 bypass near Coastal Grand Mall. We'll be collecting those items up until this Saturday at 5 in the evening.